Hi, I'm Ken,
And I'm Barbie.
and together we are standing in for Rob and Angie of TwinFinity. Yay for us! It is Halloween.
Happy Halloween.
I thought we should start with a Halloween joke.
Oh.
What do you-
Since Rob and Angie aren't here telling one of their
Yeah.
little stories, we have to do a Halloween joke?
Well, yes,
Okay.
we
Rob,
could do
Rob
that.
probably gave you this bad joke, didn't he? Oh, and of course, we're also taking care of Rob and Angie's dog Cookie tonight too, and she didn't want to dress up, so she's just being a dog.
A dog.
A dog. She's an Oreo cookie dog. Okay, tell us your bad joke so we can.
It's a riddle.
A riddle.
A riddle.
A riddle.
What do you call two witches that live together?
I'm afraid to know.
Broommates.
You've been waiting forever to tell that one, have you, Ken?
Yes.
Nicely done. Nicely done. So, welcome to our Halloween video. We thought we'd give Rob and Ange the night off to go play Halloween-y bits.
Yes.
So
They can do that.
Yes, they can do that. So we are here to answer questions on their behalf. They might not be as well answered because we're not as skilled as they are at answering questions, but we'll give it a try.
They were nice enough to leave the questions behind.
That's right. If nothing else, we have my pretty sparkly hair and your fancy headband there, Ken. Yeah.
Love the headband.
Yeah.
Working on the hair.
It's so you.
It's actually so you.
Oh, and Cookie's going to lick your arm.
Great.
Alrighty.
I must still have sunscreen on from when I went out surfing earlier.
Must have been.
Yeah.
Yeah. You got any sand in your shoes still?
Nope.
No?
I switched over to slippers.
Oh, well, you dumped all the sand out.
Yeah.
Good for you.
They're still in the shoes, but they're not on my feet.
Okay. I have my Barbie high heel shoes on.
They're pink.
Yep, they sure are.
Everything's pink.
Yes, it is. I live in Barbie World. Everything is pink.
Did they leave us any stories to tell about themselves, by the way, Rob and Angie? Did they?
No, you got to tell your silly little riddle instead.
Okay.
Yep. So we could just dive into their questions. I think that's what they do.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's dark. It's dark where we are.
It is dark.
It doesn't really look that dark, but it's darker than normal. It's almost Halloween, a little bit spooky.
Spooky.
Yeah.
Are you afraid of the dark, Ken?
Not really.
Okay.
But it's still no good for surfing when it's too dark out.
Well, that's why we're doing a video now, because
It's not surfing hour.
no, I can't play on the beach anymore. My high heels get stuck on the beach anyway.
Oh, that's true.
It's complicated. Yeah. Okay, carry on.
Okay.
He's not very good at this. Can you tell? I'm going to have to prod Ken all night long.
Short attention span.
Yeah,
wow.
all he does is surf.
And there's a question here for Rob, so,
Oh,
I get to just blow
You'll have
Rob
to just
up.
pretend you're Rob.
It says, "Hey Rob, hope you are well with my question. Just before separating, the divine masculine seems to be very determined that it's done over, the ship has sailed, finished. Do they actually believe that? And how long before realizing they missed their twin, or that there's something more? How long is it before they miss their twin? And that's with no contact. So, seems to be very determined that it's done over, the ship has sailed. That's usually always the intention. When someone's just had enough, they don't understand what's going on, they decide to just get away from it because it sounds too incomprehensible. So they just want to be finished with it.
Yeah.
So it's not hard to understand that it's going to be an absolute break. But usually, especially if there's been a fair amount of contact, they've already experienced some magic. And that magic, you can get away from the person, but the magic is always still there.
Kind of like the magic we share as Barbie and Ken.
Everything can go wrong, but it's still inseparable. So, how long before realizing that they missed their twin? Actually, very quickly, because the good memories, the good contacts, the good phone conversations are still there.
But sometimes the masculine energy, and it doesn't always have to be the masculine, but often it's the masculine energy, will pull away for years.
Yeah, but the question is how long before they miss their twin? You can miss a person and still be
I
determined
suppose.
to not have them around.
Okay.
Like just when your best friend leaves town, you still miss them, even though you just can't go out for coffee or supper with them, or
So,
go surfing with them or anything like that.
in all the times you've known Rob, did he mention that when he and Angie were apart, he still missed her, even though they had no contact?
Well, he still always wanted somehow or another to send those Merry Christmases and Happy Birthdays. He'd miss those for sure. There was just always that. I'm not sure what he called it, a string or a cord or something that he recognized was still there. Still something, still some level of attachment.
So the masculine still misses their twin. They just choose to not be in contact because they don't feel like it's of benefit at that point, or maybe ever.
They made the decision. They try to honor their decision. But it doesn't mean that there still isn't some, I wouldn't call it doubt. What would Rob call it? That there's still some tug, attachment.
Okay.
Still something to miss.
Got it.
Still always something to miss.
Got it. All right. Shall we go to the next question?
Yes, let's do that.
Let's.
Oh, I should have watched Rob and Angie's videos more thoroughly because this one says that they speak of twin telepathy, and surprisingly, it was my twin who mentioned it when we were together. I've had a series of dreams with different interactions with my twin.
Interreaction.
That's a big word, especially with the extra re thrown in. For a while, we were running from each other, but the most recent one, we acknowledged we've both been running and didn't want to anymore, and we just embraced, and we're still together. Oh, that sounds pleasant. That sounds nice and romantic. It was like the end of a long period of yearning for each other, and yet nothing seems to have changed in the 3D. Has 3D been invented yet?
Good question. We live in our own little world. We don't really know about 3D.
Are we the 1958 Ken and Barbie?
Yes.
Ooh, 3D. Hadn't made it to the theaters yet. I don't see any prospect of it changing. My dreams haven't exactly involved what you'd call communication. I don't think we ever exchanged words. I'd say we've exchanged energy.
Ah, yeah.
That last little bit, I'd say we've exchanged energy. Yes. When all other forms of communication fail, that energy just seems to always be there. I've heard
It's
of
always there for us because we're our
Yeah.
own special version of twin flames.
Yes, we are.
But most people didn't know Barbie and Ken were twin flames.
How would they not know?
Good point. They should know.
Inseparable, and no matter what form we take, we're still there.
That's right. And we're always in our pink and blue. Fire colors, you see? Flames.
And inseparable. If one becomes lost,
You come find me.
you can find. Yes.
So, what's the question? I missed it. I was busy dreaming of you.
Aww.
On the beach with no shirt on.
La la la. It's been a lot of years. The 1958 version of Ken doesn't quite look the same on the beach anymore. I've had a series of dreams with different interactions with my twin. For a while, we were running from each other, but most recent one, we acknowledged we'd been running and didn't want to anymore,
Ah,
and we embraced. We're still together.
okay. So in the dreams, they're still together.
In the dreams, they have acknowledged that they were running and have stopped running,
Cool.
but nothing has changed in 3D.
Oh,
But
well,
it's changed in 5D.
I see. Well, that makes sense because everything starts in 5D first. So this is your subconscious or your higher self and his higher self communing with each other and showing each other the path forward of not running anymore so that you can now shift that in this perspective that you're in or in this realm that you're in and work towards achieving what you've seen in your dream. It's like a sort of prophetic dream of the future of what could be should you choose that. What do you think, Ken?
You know, a lot of people try to change their 3D to make the 5D work. This sounds excellent. It's just starting with the more complex but connected dimension and working towards the one that tends to be more stubborn, which is the 3D.
Absolutely.
This is completely interesting that this person can recognize that the connection is being honored in the 5th dimension first.
Yes. And Angie has shared with me, we're very close with Rob and Angie, so they've told us a lot about their journey and the struggles they've had and also the good times they've had. And she has shared with me when her and Rob were not together yet, she was experiencing a lot of changes happening in 5D and nothing happening in 3D. But it took time, and then it did start happening in 3D. So this is quite normal from what she's told me. Mm-hmm.
And even if you don't see any prospect of communication in 3D changing,
Absolutely.
when you don't have any evidence of it right off the bat, of course there's no prospect. But as 5D communication increases, if your twin is also listening in 5D and wants to communicate with their 3D side, they'll be feeling those nudges.
Yes.
So,
yes.
yeah, it does rest. It does rest in the realm of your twin whether or not they're communicating from their 5D to their 3D.
Yeah.
But you can't worry about if there's any prospect of it changing when you have no evidence one way or another other than just history. Because when you're starting to communicate in 5D, your history of communication is changing. So what was before doesn't have the same emphasis as what it does now because of the new 5D communication, new communication.
And when you're not seeing things in 3D, it's partly because it's your lesson to have faith in the unseen and to bring that to the 3D. So keep remembering, keep practicing, keep experiencing what you experienced in that dream and bring it into this reality. Start seeing it as the way things really are, even though it doesn't look like it's that way right now.
There's a part 2 to this question.
Oh,
and you've just stepped right towards that part 2, so I'll mention the part 2. It says, how can I be more open to telepathic communication? You just touched on that. How will I recognize it as such and not just thoughts? Would it be helpful if I used other more 3D methods to start communicating things with him, like journaling?
That's a great idea.
Sometimes I wonder whether he's trying to communicate with me and I'm missing it. I think that's always possible.
Not probable, though. Because you're connected, you're going to, even if you're not searching or hoping or waiting for any sort of telepathy, it's hard to miss. It whaps you kind of right over the head.
I want to back up one notch. How will I recognize it as such and not just thoughts? Now, I would like to relate this to dreams. Dreams are seldom just thoughts. Even the most confusing dream that you can make no sense of is, especially when you've detached from your 3D self because you are asleep and dreaming, you've allowed other dimensions to come into your existence.
Mm-hmm.
I very seldomly think that dreams are strictly just a reaction to 3 dimension.
Absolutely.
So thoughts are very 3D. Now a realization is also tied in with the 3D, but it could be because you've recognized something from the 5D. So how will I recognize it as such and not just thoughts? It's because I'd like to strongly encourage that it's not just thoughts.
Right. And it often will come in ways that you wouldn't think. You wouldn't, your logical mind wouldn't make it up that way or say it that way or experience it that way. And I like your idea of journaling too. I think that's brilliant. Start writing down whatever you'd want to communicate with your twin and know that you are communicating it just by writing it down. If that's what you prefer, but you can also just sit and think the thoughts and know that they're being transmuted to your twin.
It's nice to write down the thoughts through journaling as a reinforcement of what your thoughts were. Your 5D self will always pay attention to what you are thinking, but also if you're thinking, oftentimes you can think a thought and then move on to it from it very quickly. If you're writing it down, it's a reinforcement because it's slower, it's more deliberate. You've put your energy more into it. It's not just a fleeting burst of thought. So journaling is more likely to hit and stick strongly on your 3D side that would try to communicate with your 5D side.
Yeah. Like that quote, I don't know if you've ever heard it. It's called, "Don't think it, ink it."
Never heard of it.
It's a great quote. Yeah.
We have a dog skittering beside us.
Yeah. Did we answer everything in that question?
I think we got to most of it.
All right.
Sometimes I wonder whether he's trying to communicate with me and I'm missing it.
You can't miss it. You're too connected. If he's trying to communicate with you, you'll hear it. You'll get it. Because don't forget, telepathy happens in many different ways. It can happen through songs. It can happen through dreams. It can happen through things popping into your head. It can happen as visions. There's endless ways that you can experience communication with your twin on a 5D level. So
the only way you really miss it is your 3D side missing your 5D side. Your 5D side always gets a message.
right.
It's whether or not you're capable of being in touch with your 5D side. And forgive yourself if you miss the odd message.
And journaling will get you there, right? Because the more you're tuning into yourself, the more you're tuning into them. Yeah. So things like journaling, meditating, even just being in nature, because that allows us to quiet our minds and get more into connection with ourselves. So I think an important piece of it is remembering that the more you connect with you, the more you connect with them. So it's not trying to reach outside of you to get to them, it's trying to go inside of you because they're inside of you. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, good.
There is one final little piece here.
Okay.
And this is, okay, I should just read it. How can I tell if my dreams are just dreams or if they're really a form of communication with my twin? If they are, how can I find a way to have deeper conversations in them. I guess that would make the difference if you recognize that you're dreaming at the same time that you're still asleep, or if you wake up and then go, oh, I had a dream.
Mm.
Once you've woke up, it's hard to reach back inside the dream and use that communication portal. But if you're recognizing that you're dreaming, that would be a great time to ask yourself not to completely wake up and stay present in the dream. And then once you've got that, I wouldn't want to say mastered, but once you've got that as an option, then sometime when you've got enough practice that you can stay in touch with a dream, but know that you're dreaming, just be barely enough awake to know that you're still dreaming, then you can try to slide a message through. That's really a tough skill. I used to be better at that. I used to be able to know that I was dreaming, but be awake enough to realize that I was laying in a bed and maybe laying on my side or my back or whatever. I haven't done that for a long time.
We're always in a dream, you and I, as kind of Barbie, so
that's also true.
You're just always doing it, see? People just need to learn to live in the dream all the time.
Sounds fair.
It does. All right, did we answer all that question?
I think we're there.
Okay.
Next question?
Sure. We're getting good at this, Kat.
I think so. Stuff is making sense.
Hopefully.
Hopefully it makes sense to Rob and Angie when they review this video we've done for them.
Well, we gave them the night off.
They get what they get.
That's right. As long as it's making sense to you guys, that's all that matters. We're here to serve you.
Okay.
Okay.
Are we ready for this next one?
Ready as I'll ever be, Ken.
Is it okay that I don't want to partake in this twin flame dance anymore and leave it to the universe and the other to figure things out? Oh, so in other words, you're tired of doing all the work yourself and you want the universe and the other person to chip in while you take a break.
Well, do they even want the other person to chip in, or do they just want to stop?
Leave it to the universe and the other to figure things out.
Okay.
Is it okay if you don't want to partake in this twin flame dance? I don't want to use the word sadly, but the twin flame label? Is that a word?
Sure.
The twin flame label automatically, this is hard to word. I'm missing all my words. The twin flame label is only something that you can recognize and try to compartmentalize in the third dimension. You can leave the third dimension dance behind all you want, but in 5D, it's going to continue right on.
Yes, you can't leave it, but you can leave it in your mind. You can walk away for a while and take a break. Absolutely. I mean, look at Rob and Angie. Not that they even knew they were twin flames, but they walked away for a long time, years.
And it just continued right on without us.
It did.
So we left the conscious side, but
they left it.
Yeah.
We are kind of Barbie. We don't leave nothing except for the beach at night when it's too dark for you to play.
Yeah. You can only see the tops of the waves breaking. You can't see what's really underneath it.
Yeah. But I think if you need a break, take it. Yes, absolutely. Walk away. Now, you can only walk away so far because you probably know by now the journey will keep pulling you back, and you'll see their name everywhere, and just everything. The signs, the synchronicities, it doesn't go away sometimes. But you can try to pull back, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Sometimes you need a break.
So it is perfectly okay that you just want to leave it to the
Sure.
universe and the other.
Sure.
That sounds fair.
Hmm.
Let them do the work for a while.
Yeah.
I want to mention that there is always a lot of energy in my solar plexus region where I feel it pulls and nudges and have to breathe into it to calm. I think that this might be a connection cord. Solar plexus region, connection cord,
Would make total sense.
twin flame energy,
Sure.
close to the heart chakra.
Hmm.
How many chakras is there? Or is it all depending upon who you ask?
Depending on who you ask, and depending on, there's 7 basic chakras, but then there's lots of other ones. So
Okay,
it's a complicated question.
okay. I would like to also know how to reconnect to the spiritual power within me more deeply. So it sounds like this person has been spending so much energy partaking in the twin
Right.
flame dance that they have left, not paid attention to their connection to their spiritual power.
And to themselves. So yeah, much like we mentioned in the previous question, it's about reconnecting with the self, and that can be done many ways, like we mentioned before: journaling, being in nature, meditation, or even just doing something that you love, whether it's art or dance or something creative or finding music that you love.
Also, if you're feeling really disconnected, go to a spiritual practitioner.
Yeah,
Reiki treatment.
or
Yeah,
anything like that
that
that's
if anything,
body connected.
if it doesn't hit you deeply on a 5D level, it might jar you on a 3D level to get a little bit closer.
That's a good suggestion.
So so either way, whether you've still got some connection left on the inside of you and you just want to nurture it more, or if you need a kickstart from an external source, I would almost suggest both.
That's a great idea.
When you've been disconnected, when you're really feeling like you have been disconnected, uh, it's there's no shame in that because sometimes the connection was painful enough that you needed to disconnect it just to survive in the 3D for a while. And
But then you disconnect from yourself by disconnecting from them, so you just need a break from all of it, or not a break, but a reset from all of it.
so
Yeah,
yep,
very good point.
reset on many levels. It can't hurt.
Yeah.
It can't hurt. And if you're at a a place where they're doing spiritual work, let them know what your intention is.
In the sense of reconnecting with yourself?
And reconnecting with yourself,
Gotcha.
reconnecting with your spiritual energy. Let them know what that is because they can often tailor make things as the energies are starting to flow. They can help direct energies to help in a specific direction.
And they might also be able to tune into specific chakras and find that they're balanced or imbalanced or closed or.
That's why the solar plexus region.
Yeah.
It's all sounding like it's bottled up there.
Yeah.
You can still feel it. If you're feeling disconnected, but yet you can still feel your solar plexus region where that your energy's bottled there. That's a portion where your energy isn't able to get away from. It's hiding there. It's taking refuge there. Need to let it spread back out again.
Yes, that's what it is. Maybe you need to go to the beach like Ken does all the time. Maybe the beach would be some.
There's nothing like sand. Trillions of crushed up tiny little shell pieces make it soft and comfortable underneath your feet.
Yeah. So maybe some water or beach time would help reconnect with yourself too. Because Ken's very connected to himself since he spends a lot of time at the beach.
Everything seems to be connected like water. Water just seems to be something that relates to everything. You talk about flowing of energy, it tends to flow like water. There's another portion to this question.
Wow.
I miss the supernatural connection of omens and signs I built with the universe at the start of it all. Yeah, I bet you do. Bet you do. And now I want to be in a healthy relationship with myself and take care of me and my physical career path that the universe has been guiding me on. Yep. It, this person is actually very fortunate that they still miss their connections.
Mm.
Like they've had such good connections before that now that they've kind of blown themselves up a bit, probably by over focusing not on themselves, that they still have something that they miss. This is not going to be hard for them to come back to. If you've already done the walk, just need a boost. Sort of like when a car has its battery go dead, gets a boost, it starts up, away it goes again. A little bit of a recharge, you're set.
Although our cars don't even need to drive, we just drive them automatically.
Not manually?
No.
That was my fault.
And I think when you miss the little signs and magic of the universe, the way to bring it back is to appreciate them when they're there. When you do get one, be really grateful for it and acknowledge it, and then they'll start to flow again. Because it's like they're always there, it's us that shuts them off. Unless you live in Barbie and Kenland, then the magic's always
It's always there.
Yeah. All right, shall we go to the next question?
Yes.
Okay.
Do you still believe in your religion after this journey? Who's your God? Do you want to start or do you want me to start?
I'll start.
Okay, I'd like to hear your bit.
Well, as Barbie, I don't really believe in religion other than shoes and clothes.
And
But
pink and purple hair.
yes, and sparkles and
Sparkles.
hearts and bling, and that's the world of magic, and that's the only God I need.
So much for Ken.
That's right. You're just my sidekick, Ken.
Okay.
But Angie, religion for her was never really a big thing. For a while, she believed in religion, but she's always been much more of a spiritual person, understanding that we're all connected. It's not about religion per se, it's about spirituality. Religion tends to be much more of a, at least in her perspective, more of a thing where you go to a building, whether that be a church or a synagogue or a whatever, and somebody tells you what you should believe and tells you how you need to behave and conduct yourself. Whereas spirituality is much more of an internal connection with the divine. And when you have spirituality, I think the divine is whatever you choose to connect with, whether you want to call it God, source, a higher power, all that is. But I think it's all the same, no matter if you're connected to religion or connected to spirituality. There is, I might be getting myself into trouble by saying this, but there is really only one God. Whoever, however you want to see that God or see that higher power, there's no wrong answer. We can all call it whatever we choose and worship it in our own ways. But it's understanding and respecting that everybody has their own way and nobody's wrong. You know, like this whole thing of my God's the only God, and unless you're worshiping my God, you're wrong and you're going to go to hell. I don't buy into any of that. Now that I've gotten myself into trouble and Angie's never going to let me do a video again, I'll let you.
I'm going to work from the back of this question
Okay.
to the front.
You redeem us. I don't want to
We'll
get
try.
fired. Case.
There's much that I do agree with what Angie told Barbie. Who's your God? God, Spirit, Creator, the Divine. It's all basically different words as interpreted by different people describing the same source energy.
Right.
Okay. So do you have to put a label on it? You can pick any of the labels. You're not going to be wrong because you're still describing the same singular source.
Right.
The same singular source.
Totally.
Do you still believe in your religion after this journey? Well, one of Rob's biggest mantras that he's told me is that don't forget where you've come from. Most people started out with a religion, and the religion, maybe through either a strength of the religion, puts a person on a spiritual journey, or maybe through a weakness that a person perceives in a religion, and they go out and seek a different style of spiritual journey. The religion was still a foundation that allowed or created the opportunity for the journey to continue on, even if you stop calling yourself what the religion, whatever it was, is. You've still managed to move forward, keep moving forward on a spiritual journey. So, do you still believe in your religion? In a lot of cases, you may not embrace the teachings of whatever the religion was, but still honor that it is what got you to where you are now by giving you those nudges, either long ago or not that long ago, depending upon when you've decided to separate yourself from being completely committed to whatever your religion was. And some people are still highly committed to their religion, but they've just added deeper spiritual studies to what they still strongly believe in. That's actually a highest form of honoring, when you can say, hi, this is something I strongly believe in, and I know there must be more, so let's look for it. It's done me proud, and I'm just looking for more, just outside the usual realms. And a lot of times you'll find that religious leaders are so busy working with the basics of teaching whatever their religion, whatever slant their religion is, that they don't get into the depths of it. And most religions actually do have quite a deep spiritual connection, because that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to understand God. There's one of the words right there. I'll just use that as the blanket word. They're just trying to understand God as well from a religious perspective. And even the people who are teaching the religion are often on their own spiritual journey. So, do you still believe in your religion after this journey? Unless you want to completely start all over again with something you call spiritual studies and 100% ignore everything that you'd ever learned before that when you were being preached to. Unless you want to go down that road, yeah, sure, still believe in your religion. Yeah.
And some people still believe in it, but have a different take of it, or a different slant of it, or have a different perspective of it. Some people leave their religion completely. It really differs from person to person and experience to experience. It just depends on the kind of awakening they've had and the shifts they've made in their life from before until after. So,
Rob told me a story. And
I bet he did. He is quite the storyteller. Him and his bad jokes.
Rob had not been to church for a long time. Rob was raised Christian, okay? But he had not been to church for many years. And then he had the opportunity to go to like a wedding and a couple of funerals. And he was actually...
weddings and a funeral?
Just no, one wedding and two funerals.
Oh, okay. It's a whole new movie.
Yes. A wedding and a couple of funerals. And he was actually quite impressed that, as much as he hadn't thought much about his past religious studies and background, he was quite impressed that going back into a church, he heard many concepts that were still quite in line with his newer spiritual journey that he was on. So he felt a little bit of comfort in knowing that religion wasn't completely off base in the direction that he'd chosen to go many years ago. Religion had still had something that was relevant.
Good story that Rob told you.
Yeah.
Nice. Which didn't have any weird puns in it either. That's shocking.
No. No. Actually, it is kind of shocking.
All right.
Next question.
Yes. Angie told me I was supposed to keep you on track and make sure you get to the next question.
I sometimes get lost on tangents.
Yeah.
I was never very good at math. But I can tell how tall a wave is. How do you handle telling people in your life, especially people against the connection, for whatever reason, about reuniting with your twin? Whew. What advice would you give to twins going through this process of letting go of karmic situations and entering union space gracefully? How do you handle telling people in your life, especially people against your connection for whatever reason, about reuniting with your twin? I'm guessing that is reuniting in the third dimension.
That's what I'm guessing.
Yes.
I don't think you have to tell everybody. I think this is where also the journey teaches you discernment. You know who to tell and how much to tell each person. Like Rob and Angie have shared a lot with some people and very little with other people.
Yeah, there's some people that just have no place within them to store journeys like that.
Right, because they just don't get it, and it's not for them to get, and it's not your job to make them get it. So share what they can handle and leave it at that. Not everybody needs to understand the whole ins and outs of the twin flame journey, and we have this deep soul connection, and we're meant to be together, and we have this mission. And some people don't get it. They're not going to get it, and that's okay.
In this case, though, there's likely a conflict where people would be saying, why are you going back to this person?
Yes.
And then the only real answer you have is that hopefully it starts this way. Yeah, it's not going to be abusive or anything like that, but it's also a connection that I can't get rid of, so I'm going to try to embrace it again.
Yeah.
Now, of course, if you're stepping towards something that you're only stepping towards it because it's a connection, but it's very unhealthy, well, then I suppose there's room to actually listen to the people and understand that they're going to be upset with you, and there might not be any explaining it to them.
And I was going to say, maybe it's about also understanding where those other people are coming from and why they aren't embracing the connection. Maybe there's some valid reasons that you've been blinded to or haven't wanted to look at. Maybe you need to have a conversation with them and let them share their perspective. And, maybe they'll say, like, this person hasn't treated you very well at all. And you might say, oh, but they're my twin and we have this connection and they're meant to trigger me. And they might go, well, triggering is different than abuse. Like maybe there's some perspectives that you need to be open to. So I think about having honest conversations with people, but also knowing how honest you need to be, how much and how deep you share. Angie has some friends that she shared very deeply about the connection, and other people she's given very basic information. It's just about knowing which people are open to receiving that and which you just need to leave it at the basics and allow them to figure it out and put the pieces together from there, if they want to, even.
Making sure that karma doesn't get in the way. If somebody requires an explanation, I would still say that you need to honor their request for information, but do it on their level.
Right.
Even if it's just that love is crazy sometimes. Can't explain it.
Yes.
But definitely if people are telling you you're going into harm's way,
That's something to maybe pay attention to.
Yeah,
Yeah.
in those cases, maybe you do owe them a little bit of time to let them tell you what they think before you try to re-explain it back to them.
Yes, I agree.
And there's going to be some people who you'll never be able to give them a real answer. They'll 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 prod and try to find something that they understand up until the point that you tell them your best truth. And then they'll still be confused, but then they'll be afraid because then they've really gone off the deep end of not understanding. It's always going to be somebody who you'll just never be able to explain it to.
And know that you might lose friends or family members over it too, because not everybody will get it. I know Rob and Angie in their past videos have shared that they've lost people, and sometimes that's part of the journey as well.
Yeah, sometimes is. I really dislike callously losing people, like just casting them aside. I People who have been in your life, there's the reason, the season, or the lifetime. And if someone appears to still be someone who should be in your life for a lifetime, you do owe them a lot of energy to try to make it comfortable for both yourself and them. But if someone's just plainly a seasonal person, someone that's in your life for, let's say, 1 to 15 years, because I lost a person when I got back. Well,
When you got back with me, and Rob lost some people too when he got back with Angie.
thanks.
Yes.
Yes, it was tough to explain.
Yes. Because, well, not many people know. We have, as Ken and Barbie, have broken up too. But
It's happened, and then people didn't understand.
no, because we're meant to be together. Yeah.
Of course, we're meant to be together. We're portrayed in stores in packages.
That's right. And we were matching clothes.
Yep. Nope. Yep. Rob lost a 15-year person when he reconnected with Angie.
Yep. And it hurt.
Did.
So yeah, you're not guaranteed to keep everybody either.
Sometimes there's just no explanation good enough.
Yep. And that's where the honoring of self comes in, and knowing that if you know you're doing the right thing for your journey, there's some people that either you're going to have to let go of, or that are going to let go of you. And that's just part of the path, unfortunately, sometimes.
Rob and Angie are often concerned about time.
Yes, they are. I think
Oh,
we're okay
looks like
for
there's
another question.
a little bit more time.
Yeah.
Okay, next question. I've noticed that some twins appear to heal and get together by a program you pay for and mirror exercise. I do not believe this based on my journey and looking inward. Yes, there are 144. Yes, there are 144. Wow, I'm going to step past that. I figure like it's a circular pattern. 144 in the middle and twin flames in certain ages in a pattern around the originals, making the grid stronger. Oh, I see where this is going. But anyway, do you guys feel the older you are, the more difficult the journey? Let's stop that right there.
We don't age. As Barbie and Ken, we don't age.
We don't
But
age.
I guess we'll have to answer this question like everything else from Rob and Angie's perspective.
Do you feel it? This is tough. I don't know if I really talked a lot, Rob, about this one, about this style of bits.
Rob didn't share everything with you?
No.
He was supposed to download his whole experience into you before they went away for their own little experience, so we
I
could
probably did, but
did everything possible.
I probably missed that lesson.
You were busy playing volleyball on the beach.
Yeah, something else. The beach was calling.
It always
No.
is,
Does that mean I skipped school?
apparently. So let me see if I can help. What is the question?
I've noticed that some twins appear to feel and get together by a program you pay for and do mirroring exercises.
Okay.
I do not believe this based on my journey and looking inward.
Agree.
This, Rob has said, though, that it's your journey.
Yes.
And if other people are telling you how to run your journey, there's a fine line between telling you how to have your journey and giving you clues as to what you choose to experience in your journey.
Right.
If people are trying to be helpful by providing some clarity, that's one thing. If they're telling you exactly what clarity looks like in your journey, then that's probably another. That's probably a little bit closer to trying to direct you through your journey as opposed to trying to direct as opposed to correct.
Ah. So is there a question in there?
There's not really a question, but there is a statement that the person doesn't believe that this is something that happens based upon their journey.
Stop moving your finger. 144 in the middle.
Now, 144,000, isn't that something to do with the amount of
Twin flames.
twin flames
Yes.
in certain ages and pattern around the originals, making the grid stronger?
Okay, yeah.
Sure.
Did you guys feel...
The older you are, the more difficult the journey.
Well, Rob and Angie started on the journey very young, but it wasn't until they were in their 40s and 50s that they actually got together. But I don't think age is really relevant so much on this. I think the journey is just meant to be hard for most twin flames because we're not just clearing stuff from this lifetime, we're clearing lifetimes full of stuff. And we're clearing for ancestors as well, and we're doing a lot of work. So it really doesn't matter age, and if you're older or younger or middle-aged, I think the journey is hard no matter what age.
Rob has expressed that there's just different levels to this journey. It's like building jigsaw puzzles. You might get better and better at it, but sometimes you still run into a puzzle that's just very difficult no matter how you look at it. Maybe it isn't your style of puzzle. So as much as you build a puzzle and then it gets easy towards the end because there isn't very many pieces, you just step into the next puzzle and continue on learning. So does it get any more difficult? Probably the basics get easier because of practice, experience, and confirmations that you're on the right path. But the things you run into on the path, because you've gained more tools and abilities to learn, you probably run into tougher challenges. So the basics probably become easier. The journey, depending upon whether you're pushing it hard, probably gets a little tougher because you end up taking on stronger challenges. It's whether or not you have enough balance to take the next stronger challenge and make it almost as easy or just as easy as the challenge before it.
Okay.
Practice makes better up until the time that you're missing a tool to get through the next portion of your journey.
Got it. So this last question on the page looks very long. I think we should maybe save that one for Rob and Angie to answer.
Yeah.
That looks tricky.
Oh. Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty tricky.
Okay.
It's got words in it that
that we don't understand.
Yeah, we don't understand yet.
That aren't part of our world.
No, not part of our world. No, not at all.
Okay. Well, we'll probably leave it there then and let Rob and Angie pick it up next time when they do videos again, unless they trust us enough to do another video, but I don't know. I don't know if we did well enough for them to allow us to do this again.
No, I feel like I needed more training. I'm going to have to actually pay attention to the lessons.
Yeah, Rob will have to take you out of the beach and put you in a classroom for the next lessons.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks for having us.
Yep.
And
hope we didn't let you down.
yeah. And if you have more questions or need clarity on some of the things, then ask them in this video down below, and Rob and Angie will clarify when they're back.
They'll pick up the pieces of what we've spread around all over the place, and they'll try to put it back together.
Yeah.
All right. We're supposed to wave or something like that?
I guess so.
Is it like this?
I don't know. I do the Barbie wave.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay, you can do the Ken wave.
Oh,
Good
that
night.
would be this.
Make sure
Surfing.
you know that we were not Rob and Angie. We were Ken and Barbie, so you don't mix us up with them.
Happy Halloween.
Yes.